A very good morning, students. Today, I'm going to explain you the unit 3. I'm going to start the unit 3. In the previous session, we have completed unit 2, that is water chemistry and corrosion. And unit 3 is polymer chemistry. But today, I'm going to explain you just introduction of polymer chemistry. And maybe already you have seen in the intermediate level about the polymer chemistry and some synthesis. And let us see the introduction and what are the basic definitions in the polymer chemistry. But before that, what is mean by the polymer? Are you using polymer in a daily life? Yes, of course, in the daily life, we are using the polymers. We are using many polymers in the daily life. For example, wood. Wood is one of the polymer. Cotton, rubber. These are the natural polymers. And by using these polymers, we are synthesizing various synthetic polymers. And for example, synthetic rubbers, that means nylon, not nylon, synthetic rubber, that is Bunaeus rubber, Bunayan rubber, which we are using in the tires and in the footwear industries. And whereas from cotton, we are synthesizing many synthetic polymers, for example, nylon 6,6, Kevlar, which are using in the textile industry and also in the aerospace. Especially Kevlar is using in the aerospace. And many polymers are there. Many polymers we are using in the daily life and also in the commercial purpose, especially in the automobiles and in the various places we are using the polymers. Now let us see what is meant by the polymer. Here polymer is one of the word which is derived from the Greek. From Greek, poly means many and mers means units are the parts. So in polymer, we are having two Greek words. One is poly and another one is a mer. Poly means many and mers means units. Unit is nothing but molecule. A single molecule is called the mer here. That is the unit. So when many mers, when many units are combined, we are getting the polymer. Polymers are generally a macromolecule. Polymers are generally macromolecules which are formed by the repeating linking of large number of smaller molecules. So what is the polymer here? Polymer is one of the macromolecule. What is mean by the macromolecule? Macromolecule is nothing but the big molecule. But how this big molecule is synthesizing or forming? By the repeating linking of large number of smaller molecules. That means when the various number of small molecules, when a larger number of smaller molecules are combining, we are getting one of a big molecule or the macromolecule. That macromolecule is called the polymer. And polymers are widely used in the automobiles, defense, electrical goods, and computer components, etc. Here, these are the various applications of the polymer. Let us say what is the definition of polymer. Now, maybe you got an idea how the polymer is synthesizing. Yes, what is polymer? A macromolecule which is forming by the addition of large number of smaller molecules. What are the smaller molecules here? Unit, a single unit is a smaller molecule. Polymers are the macromolecules which are formed by the repeating linking of larger number of smaller molecules. These small molecules are called the monomers. That means by linking various number of monomers, we are getting the polymer. That is the definition of polymer. One of the best example of polymer, well-known example is polythene formation. Polythene is also called as the polyethylene. Polyethylene, not original name, that a regular name is a polythene. And polyethylene is a polymer which is formed by the repeating linking of large number of ethylene molecules. How polyethylene is forming? When a large number of ethylene molecules are combining, we are getting the polyethylene. Let us see how polyethylene is forming based on the reaction. So this is ethylene, but this ethylene is also called as the single unit, that is the monomer. But we know that a large number of monomers, here large is the n number of monomers are combining to produce a polymer chain. This polymer is the polyethylene. Yes, so this is the example of polyethylene formation. See here, just observe, the double bond is converted to the single bond in this example. I will explain you later why the double bond is converts to single bond. Yes, this is one of the best example of polyethylene, the polymer. Now, what is mean by the monomer? Now you have seen what is mean by the monomer. This is the monomer. How can you define the monomer? The repeating unit or a smaller molecule in the polymerization. The smaller molecule in the polymers is called the monomer. Monomer is a micromolecule. That is, this is a small molecule which combines with each other to form a polymer. Some monomers and repeating unit of the polymers are given below. See here, this is the monomer. And what is the repeating unit in the polymer? This is a repeating unit. How many times it is repeating? It is repeating for n number of times. So I'm giving some examples to you for monomers and what are the repeating units. If this is the monomer, single bond CH2, single bond CH2 is a repeating unit. So like that, I'm giving various examples. What are the monomers? What are the repeating units in the polymerization? Monomer, this is the monomer CH2 double bond CH2 ethylene, and this is polymer. Not polymer, this is a repeating unit in the polymer. And propylene CH2 double bond CH3 propylene, and this is a repeating unit in the polymer. This is a monomer and this is the repeating unit in the polymer. This is a monomer and this is a repeating unit in the polymer. Just observe, I'm giving more examples to you, but just I'm explaining these. See here, if this is a monomer, whatever the double bond is, the double bond is converts to the single bond in the repeating unit. And in the both sides of the monomer, we got the new single bond, isn't it? Same in the remaining examples also, the double bond is converts to single bond, and at the both sides of the monomer, we got the new single bond. And this is a double bond, converts to the single bond, and at the both sides of the monomer, we got the new single bond in the repeating unit. And in this example also, in this styrene also, the double bond is converts to single bond, and at the both sides of the monomer, we got the new single bond. That is a repeating unit. This repeating unit in polymer for n times. And some more examples. This is vinyl cyanide and this is polyvinyl cyanide. Acrylonitrile, polyacrylonitrile, or we can call vinyl cyanide, polyvinyl cyanide. And this is vinyl acetate, polyvinyl acetate, acrylic acid, polyacrylic acid, methyl acrylate, polymethyl acrylate. See here, in every example, we have the double bond. The double bond is converts to single bond. And on the both sides of the monomer, we got the new single bond. So like this, I have given around 19 examples. But in all the examples, maybe the monomer is having double bond or triple bond. That double bond or triple bond is converts to single bond or the double bond. And at the both sides of the monomer, we got the new single bond in the repeating unit. That is about the monomer and the repeating unit in the polymer. Now let us see polymerization. What is meant by the polymerization? Polymerization, it is one of the process. What process here? The process of formation of the polymer. How the polymer is synthesizing. That particular process is called the polymerization. Let us see the definition. Polymerization is a process in which large number of smaller molecules combine to give a big molecule with or without elimination of small molecules like water. This process, simple, we can write polymerization is a process of formation of a polymer. Polymerization is a process of formation of polymer is called the polymerization. But here, how the polymer is synthesizing? Large number of small molecules combine to give a big molecule. How the big molecule is synthesizing? With or without elimination of small molecules. In the previous examples, whatever the examples I have given here, in all these examples, there is no elimination. There is no elimination of any molecule. But in some polymerizations, there is also elimination of small molecules like water. Due to the removal of small molecules, also polymer is synthesizing. So that's what we have given the definition, that either with or without elimination of small molecules, that process is called the polymerization. And degree of polymerization. The number of repeating units in a polymer chain is known as the degree of polymerization. Again, I'm defining, again, I'm repeating. The number of repeating units in a polymer chain is known as the degree of polymerization. It is represented by the following relationship. But in the before example, we have seen the first example. See here, how many times ethylene is repeating? N number of times. Maybe it is repeating for 5 times, or 6 times, or 10 times, or 100 times, or 200 times. That n is called the degree of polymerization. The n will be integer, and the number of repeating units in the polymer is called the polymerization, degree of polymerization. And what is the symbol of degree of polymerization? N. And we have one formula for degree of polymerization. N is equals to molecular weight of the polymeric network divided by molecular weight of the repeating unit. Molecular weight of the polymer divided by molecular weight of the repeating unit. That is degree of polymerization. And see here, in this example, how many times it is repeating? It is repeating for 5 times. In this example, 5 repeating units are present in the polymer chain. So what is the degree of polymerization? Degree of polymerization will be 5. And which are not part of our syllabus, but just I'm giving the definitions. Oligopolymers, high polymers, but till previous definitions, those are part of our syllabus. But oligopolymers, high polymers, these are not part of our syllabus. Oligopolymers means polymers with low degree of polymerization. That means N value is less. Those are called the oligopolymers. Their molecular weight ranges from 500 to 5000. Yes, when N value is less, those are called the oligopolymers. But when N value is more, those are called the high polymers. That means when the degree of polymerization is more, those are called the high polymers. When the degree of polymerization is less, those are called the oligopolymers. So polymers with high degree of polymerization are known as the high polymers. And their molecular weight ranges from 10,000 to 2 lakhs. Yes, this is about the molecular weight ranges of the polymers. That is based on the degree of polymerization. So based on the degree of polymerization, how many types of polymers we have? There are 2 types of polymers based on the degree of polymerization. One is oligopolymers and another one is the high polymers. In oligopolymers, degree of polymerization is less, and whereas in high polymers, degree of polymerization is more. And the next one is functionality and its significance. It is also very, very important question in the external examination for the short answer question. Functionality. Functionality means the number of bonding sites or reactive sites or functional groups present in a monomer is known as the functionality. What is meant by the functionality? The number of bonding sites or the number of reactive sites or the number of functional groups on the monomer is called the functionality. I'll give an example to you. See here, in ethylene, the double bond is the active group here, because in the place of double bond only the new monomer will be attacking. See here, when this double bond is replacing, the new monomers will be attacking at both sides, because this double bond is joining to these two carbons. That means it is one of the bonding site and it is one of the bonding site, because this double bond is joining these two carbons. So these two are the binding sites. So how many binding sites are there? Two binding sites are there. And in this example, is there any double bond? There is no double bond. That means, what is the functionality? Is the functionality 0? No, the functionality is not 0, even there is no double bond. What is the definition of functionality? The number of bonding sites or the reactive sites are functional groups. See here, there are no active sites, there are no double bond here. That means there are no double bonds here and there are no active sites here. But there are functional groups. What are the functional groups here? NH2, NH2. How many NH2s are there? Two NH2s are there. So we have two functional groups. If we have the two functional groups, functionality will be 2. And see here, how many functional groups are there? 3 functional groups are there. So these 3 are the active functional, not active functional groups. These are called the active functional groups, and the functionality will be 3. And in this 2, in this 2, and in this 3. And let us see what is the significance of bifunctional monomer. What is meant by the bifunctional monomer? Bifunctional monomer means if the monomer is having 2 functionality, or if the monomer is having the 2 bonding sites, that is called bifunctional monomer. Bifunctional monomers mainly form linear or straight chain polymers, because at the both sides we have the bonding sites. So at both sides of the monomer, the new monomer will be attacking. So how the chain, how the polymer structure? The polymer structure is the linear, that is straight chain. And each monomeric unit in the linear chain is linked by strong covalent bonds. But the different chains are held together by weak van der Waals forces of attraction. So that means if both are ethylenes, that means when the two ethylenes are joining with each other, whatever the final product is forming, that is having the strong covalent bond. But one monomer is ethylene and another one is a propylene. If these two are bonding with each other, the product is not having a strong covalent bond, which is having a weak van der Waals forces. So therefore, there is no restriction to movement of one chain over another. So this type of polymers are soft and flexible and possess less strength and low heat resistance. And these are soluble in organic solvents. And see here, these are the binding sites. In this binding site, one monomer. In this binding site, one monomer. So see here, when these polymers are binding with each other, that is called the secondary bond, and which is not much strong. This is very strong, but this is not very strong. And trifunctional monomers. Trifunctional means there are 3 functional groups. There is 3 bonding sites. When a trifunctional monomer, that is functionality of the monomer is 3, is mixed in small amounts with a bifunctional monomer, they form branched chain polymers. Because at 3 sites we have the bonding sites. So what is the possibility? There is a formation of branched chain polymer. So the movement of polymer chain is branched polymer is more restricted than that of a straight chain polymer. The straight chain polymers are having the flexibility for movement. But whereas for the branched chain, there is no that much of flexibility for movement because of the 3-dimensional structure. See here. And these are not having the movement. And here we have one, here we have one, and here we have one. So there is no much possibility for the movement. And polyfunctional monomer. Polyfunctional means the number of bonding sites are more. So when the functionality is more, when the bonding sites are more, the difficulty also more here. Polyfunctional monomers form cross-linked polymers. These are also called as a three-dimensional polymers. So all the monomer in the polymer are connected to each other by strong covalent bonds in all the sites. So therefore, the movement of polymer chain is totally restricted. So this type of polymers are hard and brittle and possess very high strength and heat resistance. So they are insoluble in also almost all organic solvents. So these are about based on the functionality. Based on the functionality, there are three types of polymers. One is a straight chain polymer, that means linear, bifunctional, trifunctional, polyfunctional monomers. See here, which is having a cross-linked structure. This is the polymer structure. This is one carbon here, and all are bonding with each other, which is having a strong three-dimensional structure, so which is not moving easily. And now let us see the classification of polymers. The first classification based on the source. Based on the source, polymers are broadly classifying into two types. And what are they? One is a natural polymer and another one is a synthetic polymers. You know that we have only two sources. One is the nature and another one is a human being. If the source is the nature, that polymer is called the natural polymer. And if the source is a human being, that means in the laboratory, the polymers are called the synthetic polymers. See here, the polymers are two types, natural and the synthetic. Again, natural polymers are two types, inorganic and organic. And synthetic also classifying into two types, inorganic and the organic. You know what is meant by the natural polymer? The polymer which is synthesizing in the nature, that is called natural polymer. And synthetic polymer means the polymer which is synthesizing in the laboratory, that is called the synthetic polymer. And in natural polymer, inorganic polymer is the clay because which are having the silicates. And whereas organic polymers are protein, polypeptide, RNA, DNA, cellulose. Yet these are the examples of the organic natural polymers. And in synthetic, inorganic polymers are silicone, which are using in the rubber, silicone rubbers. And whereas organic polymer is polyethylene, polypropylene, polyurethane, polyester, PVC. Here, all these are the examples of the organic polymers. And this is about based on the source. And what is a natural polymer? The polymers obtained from nature are called the natural polymer. So whatever the polymers are synthesizing in the nature, that means from the plants or animals, these are called the natural polymers. And the best examples are starch, cellulose, proteins, nucleic acids, natural rubber. Yes, here all these are the examples of the natural polymers. And synthetic polymers means the polymers which are synthesizing in the laboratory. These are called the synthetic polymers. And these are also called as a man-made polymers because these are synthesized by the human being. And examples are PVC, polyethylene, nylon, Teflon, Bakelite, Terylene. And these are the examples of the synthetic polymers. And 9 types of synthetic polymers. So how many types of synthetic polymers we have? There are various types of synthetic polymers. The first one is the organic polymer, and second one is the heteroorganic polymers, and the third one is the inorganic polymers. Yes, so there are 3 types of polymers in synthetic. Yes, one is organic polymer. Organic polymers are nothing but containing hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, and halogen atoms apart from carbon atoms. That means apart from the carbon, hydrogen is present, oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, halogens. Here all these are present. Such type of polymers are called the organic polymers. For example, polyethylene, polyvinyl chloride, polyvinyl alcohol, epoxy polymers, polyurethane. Here all these are having either sulfur or nitrogen or oxygen or halogen in this. Those are called the organic polymers. And the next one, elemento-organic or heteroorganic polymers. And these are polymers composed of carbon atoms and heteroatom. What is mean by the heteroatom? Either nitrogen, sulfur or oxygen. Along with this, we have either nitrogen, sulfur or oxygen. Such type of polymers are called the heteropolymers. And the main chain consists of carbon atoms and whose side groups contain heteroatom linked directly to the carbon atoms in the chain. That is elemento-organic. Example is pyrrolosiloxanes and polytitoxanes. These are not part of our syllabus here. And the next one, inorganic polymers. And these are the polymers containing no carbon atoms. Instead of having the carbon, the remaining elements are present. Such type of polymers are called the inorganic polymers. Yes. And from this, we have in the syllabus that I will explain you in the next class. But whatever up to polymerization, we have in the syllabus. And after that also important for the next topics. Yes, remaining we'll see in the next class. Thank you so much.